So as we're all aware, the Conjuring House chaos gets worse, then better, then worse, then better, then worse, and then somehow manages to get better. For Jacqueline, that is, as she has just been told that she is able to continue operating the Conjuring House as things stand, even though she was told yesterday that she can't. Apparently today she's got her ducks in line, and now she can fire on all cylinders, which obviously is chaotic. It's very chaotic. But today, you've not just got the ramblings of me. You will also be listening from two people who have actually worked at the Conjuring House. Arguably at one point were the biggest part of the Conjuring House. And then, have had quite public, not public fallouts, but, they've been in the firing line of Jacqueline Nunes. I think it's safe to say that they've definitely been in the firing line. Hello to everyone in the chat. How's it going? But today, we have got Cody and Satori joining us, so everyone make sure to give them a nice warm welcome in the chat. They're obviously here with us today to talk about everything that's gone on, and their thoughts and opinions, because obviously it's a big part of their lives. I can imagine it was a big part of your lives.
Yes. Yes, it was.
Bear in mind it was your jobs. You whether people believe your tactic or not, that's not what we're here for, but you at least made a connection to the spirits in the house. So there's like a deeper. It's not just you got fired from a job, I should imagine, is it?
No, yeah, we didn't get fired at all. We left.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Situation. No, that's honestly, a lot of people think that because there has been some misinformation that's been out there by other people. Not you. You guys you've covered the story really well. But we have a very close connection to the place, and whether you believe in the method we do or not, that's not related to this topic today. But we have a very strong connection with the spirits there, the activity we had, and the people we met and bonded with along the way.
Yeah,
being there.
No, we definitely missed the house for sure. Definitely wasn't an easy decision to all walk away, and to be honest, the whole reason why we put out our statement back in June or whatever, was because we were hearing rumors that we had been fired from people who had gone to take tours and stuff at the house, and we're like, all right, we can't have this. So that's why we made our first statement, and then that kind of started a whole domino effect on the internet, on the Facebook pages and everything else. So
Imagine finding out that you'd been fired before you even found out that you'd been fired, or allegedly been fired. Like, I couldn't imagine it. But, I suppose when you heard the news yesterday that she had a, not business license, but her, she didn't have her insurance in place, I'm sure that probably didn't come as much of a surprise to you guys. Did it? Or
It didn't. Hearing that the business had been temporarily shut down, now it's back open, it didn't come as a surprise to us because we knew that there was an investigation being done, and they were going to see that there were some things that were not adding up, that we had seen after we had left, and things like that. And we knew that it was going to be investigated. To see how fast it opened back up was a bit surprising to me. But there's a lot of moving pieces here. We're not promoting the shutdown of a business. Cody and I aren't. We're not saying, we're not telling people what to do. We're not trying to trash anyone. We're just sharing the truth of our experience there,
Yeah, I think that's worth noting as well, is that you're not here to actually actually destroy a business. Like, you guys put blood, sweat and tears into it, literally, with, especially with the barn, what happened with that absolutely sucks. And the fact that you lost a lot of valuable stuff.
Yes, thankfully no items, but we lost, we had sound equipment that was going to play intro stuff for people that came into the museum. We had smart TVs that was going to have info boards. We had furniture, mannequins, all sorts of stuff on 2 floors, and all gone.
Everything but the objects. So all the display cases, all different things like that. So
shelves, everything.
Yeah, it was definitely tough for sure.
Yeah, I know it's not the stuff that was irreplaceable, but still, it's not cheap to get that stuff, and especially after you've been promised compensation, I suppose, off the back of it, and then to be blamed for it as well, the audacity.
Yeah, it wasn't at first, when we all found out what happened, that it was an accident. We weren't even on the property. We got a call when the fire was already being fought for like an hour at that point. We showed up and we just, sadly, we had to sit there and just watch it burn, all the work just burn right in front of us, which was
Yeah.
tough. We had no involvement in that fire. And after, it was only after so many times of asking for the payment that we were promised. We have it on audio recording, a promise of payment. We have text messages showing there was an attempt to get the inventory lists and things like that for the insurance. Only after we asked so many times, then it turned into, it's your fault for the fire. So you're not
Wow.
getting any.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, which we've kind of seen similar patterns after us, with Brian and a few other people that as soon as they're owed something, that the tables kind of flip, and it ends
Yeah.
up being their fault.
But we didn't want to be vocal about that. We didn't want to come out with all this information about, how all of us have been hurt working at the house and stuff like that. That was just, we don't want that kind of drama. The only reason we initially came forward was after we had heard that people were saying we were fired.
Yeah, fair. And of course you're gonna, like, if ultimately she's tried to trash you guys, and there's only so much that you can take, and you've got to there's got to be a point where you're like, we've got to defend ourselves in some instance,
Yes.
I mean, Satori, your dad got accused of assassination attempts, like.
Yeah, my dad's been accused of quite a lot. My dad was accused of being an assassin. There's a lot of information that I don't know where some people are getting, saying that my dad has been showing up at the house. I know Jacqueline had said some things like that, attempting to assassinate her. I know some people claim that my dad was going to court hearings and harassing her, and
Wow.
None of this is true.
Yeah,
I mean, I live with the guy. If he was disappearing to be an assassin somewhere, I would be seeing it. He's not an assassin. Sadly, he's been getting a lot of trouble with all of this.
Yeah, I mean, the whole situation is sad, to be honest. I mean, when we first met Jacqueline, I mean, we were kind of involved in the house when Jen and Corey owned it. We're great friends with Corey before he bought the house. So that's how we kind of met Jen and Corey. And then obviously we were there at least once a month when they owned it. We weren't working there, but we would go there
multiple times a week.
Yeah, we would go there to hang out with them and investigate and just get-togethers at the house. And then finally, when they decided to sell, of course, all of us were upset about the future of the house. And then they ended up introducing us to Jacqueline. And to be honest, Jacqueline seemed very professional. She
A businesswoman.
A businesswoman for sure. She had, according to her, what she told us, very successful businesses, literally around the world. I mean, a vineyard and all this stuff. So very nice woman. And to be honest, Satori and I got along with her. I more than Satori, especially with the building of the barn. I mean, the only reason why we started working there was because Satori and I have our museum, and we had a traveling exhibit where we set up the museum at different paranormal conferences and events around the country. And she came to one of these shortly after purchasing the house and saw what we had set up. And we explained, we're going to travel the museum for a while, and then we're looking to get like a brick and mortar location for it eventually. And she goes, well, how about a barn at the Conjuring house? And we were like, what? And she was like, yeah, I'm going to renovate it anyway for an event space. And once it's renovated, you can move the museum in there and stay in there for a couple months, a year, 2 years, whatever you want, but at least it'll give you a space to start out. And we're like, okay, and I'll help with whatever you're doing with it, so
Wow.
We were there a lot. And then eventually she says, since you're here so much, why don't you just work here? So we started working there. We started living there for a week out of every month, and then it turned into 2 weeks out of every month. And while we were there, I helped out with the decisions on what the barn would look like and things like that. And I got along great with Jacqueline, and it probably affected me the most when we started noticing a shift with her attitude and emotions and things like that, because it just was a totally different person than what we were used to and who we had met at the beginning.
Yeah.
And looking back at everything now, I mean, it's been like a year since things really went downhill.
Yeah.
And it's just unfortunate to see the situation that it's turned into after knowing how many times we've tried to help the situation not get to where it is.
Yeah, and I've seen a really good question in the comments actually. Someone said, like, when it all started going wrong, was it quite gradual? Like, did you start to like notice little things here and there, or was it just like one day she was fine and then the next, like, bang, she's like, it's who we know her as?
That's a good question. This is our perspective of it, from what we noticed. So this is our experience. It started in like the summer before, the summer of last year.
Yeah.
So
a little over a year
time's
ago.
all merging now.
Yeah.
But we started to notice little things where she would ask for more sessions from us, and we didn't feel comfortable. We kind of felt like we were being used,
Right.
almost like only when she wanted it, or for certain people that she wanted us to show what we do for. So we kind of backed off from that. We kind of stood our ground a little bit more, that we didn't want to do sessions anymore. Then it turned into like she was getting things in her head, and with certain pieces of equipment she was claiming that she was able to communicate. And at first we were like, okay, if you're feeling things, if you're picking up on things, cool, like, because that was kind of a way for us to be like, now we get a break, work with pieces of equipment,
Yeah.
we were being supportive in that way. But then it started turning into like voices telling her things and telling her that certain things were going to happen that were not going to happen, or that people were against certain people, and it was causing this like divide among people in the group. And then all of the staff started realizing that this is kind of taking over her life and the business, and we're like, maybe we should put out there that it's a good idea maybe to look into certain resources.
Yeah.
Because you always want to find a logical explanation for things before obviously paranormal, because there's so many logical explanation to things. So we were like, maybe you should look into these resources. Maybe you should take some time for yourself and your mental health. We'll take care of the house, like, we'll, take whatever you need. We're here to help.
Yeah.
And it just got worse from there, and it would get worse and worse. And like arguments and negative situations happening that we can't really publicly talk about, but things were getting a lot worse. And then we started to fear for our safety as well as the safety for other people.
Yeah.
And that's where we all said, we're going to have to back off. If you do not want help, then we can't force you to get help. We don't want to put you in any situations you don't want to be in, but for our sake, we have to all back off. Right. And that's what happened.
And we literally tried everything that legally we could do to try getting her that help. And there were times where she seemed very receptive of it, and then the next day it was like a switch. And yeah, it was definitely frustrating because, like I said, we liked this person. This person was helping us out, especially Satori and I. Out of all the staff that was working there, she was literally helping us out, get us started in something that we wanted to accomplish. And it just was difficult, seeing her turn into this.
It also seemed that the help we were given was being turned around as, now you owe me.
Big time.
That's what it started to turn into. Now that there's a barn and a museum being open, now you owe me sessions. And
right.
If we didn't do that, it's, how much I've done for you. You need to do this for me, for this person that I want you to do this for. And it started to become more like that. And it was getting more aggressive in our opinion. So that became scary as well.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Like it must be quite intimidating for you guys to kind of like be in that sort of position. Right, I just got to ask, has everyone, is it like, is the stream working okay? Because at one point people were like, it's not working, and my internet must have gone to crap, so like halfway through I switched it over to my phone, and I'm hotspotting, because that's how hardcore this stream goes. We are hotspotting off of 5G, and it seems to be working better than my internet, so someone's making a phone call on Monday. Yeah, no one's complaining about it anymore. Your dad, Jason's here, so hello to Jason. Your dad said I'm on the dial-up internet. I wasn't even born when dial-up internet was around, so I don't even know what that is. Right.
Oh my gosh, what year were you born?
98. December.
Oh, okay. We're pretty close in age. I didn't know that.
Oh, really? How old are you?
Yeah. I was born 2000.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
So you would have been like, I don't know how school years work over in the UK, in the US, but for some reason in the UK, everyone gauges age based on what year group you would have been in. So like for you, it's like I think it's grades, right? So your grades are our year groups, right? So you would have been in the year below me. So I would have been.
Yes.
So
Yep,
I probably would have been.
here.
Yeah. So I probably would have been a year older than. Well, I'm a year older than you. Anyway. So it is working better now, right? Okay. So the hotspot's coming in clutch. Good. Right. So obviously I'm keen to get people if they want to come in. We're gonna be chill. It's all gonna be good. And I'm gonna see. So we've got Caitlin, who was I think in the line first. So we'll get Caitlin in. See how Caitlin's doing. Connecting. Dial-up internet was around in the 90s when I got my first computer. Wait, people had their first computers only in the 90s. I thought it was like. I thought
even I do that.
Nah.
Maybe it's because I was born by, my parents remind me of all these things all the time.
Maybe. I do it all the time. I'm literally like, Lainey will say to me, "Oh, do you remember so and so?" And I'm like, No, I don't know who that is. And she's like, "Fuck's sake, you're so young." Right, Caitlin, are you there? She's not on mute anymore.
Hello?
Hello!
Hi.
How are ya?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How's everything going for you? Are you doing well?
I'm doing well. I'm gonna go to work soon here.
Oh, that sucks. Where is here? Whereabouts are ya?
Minnesota.
Oh, nice. I don't know where that is in comparison to Rhode Island because I'm really bad with my. Is it far?
It's
yeah.
far.
Right. Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. So.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, Caitlin, what's your opinion on everything that's going on?
Well, I've been watching some of your videos and I completely agree with you that like she's kind of off of her rocker.
Yeah, definitely seems that way. Obviously, I'm not diagnosed to diagnose, but I'm not professional enough to diagnose. Sorry, but it definitely seems that there's something going on. But have you ever been to the Conjuring house, Caitlin?
No, I mean I watched the Sam and Colby thing, but and then I've seen like the movies, but nothing more than that.
Right. Would you ever go?
Oh yeah.
Would you go?
Well,
I think the question should be: would you go now or would you wait?
I would wait. Yeah, absolutely. It's too pricey and there's too much drama going on.
Yeah, Cody and Satori. Yeah, what's your opinion on the pricing? Like, obviously, I know you don't have. That's not up to you, and it was completely Jacqueline's choice. But
yes.
Obviously, I think there was quite a price hike when Jacqueline took over.
Yes.
How did that kind of go down within the little group that you had?
The majority of the group of staff at the time believed that it was unnecessary to be as high as it was. There were times where we would look at the prices for things and just be baffled because it wasn't what we were used to with Corey and Jen, for example, owning it. I mean, we could understand prices going up a bit more, but the prices that are there, in our opinion, are just outrageous. And we thought that from the beginning. And that's why when people would come to the house, there were times where outside of us working, they would ask for our opinion on prices and things. And we would try to give them advice on how it might be more cost effective for them if they brought certain amounts of people and things like that, because we felt bad with the price range.
Fair enough.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Caitlin, would you agree?
Oh, absolutely.
Fair
I mean,
enough.
charging for extra people to film is outrageous too. That's money grabbing right there.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we didn't agree with that either. Also, the rule of there's only a certain amount of time you can live stream, and certain ways that you can record and things have to be signed off on all the time. we felt personally that it was taking away people's freedom of believing in a certain thing, believing in a certain way, doing things a certain way. We felt like that was kind of cracking down on people's freedom of what they're booking for.
Yeah, fair enough. Caitlin, do you have any more questions for Cody and Satori? Because there's a lot of people piling up in the waiting room, and I want to try and get around as many people as possible.
I'll pass it off to them. Thank you for talking to me, though.
Oh, thank you so much for calling in. Take care.
Yep, you too. Bye.
Bye.
It's that long, awkward hiatus when I'm trying to work out how to get other people in, isn't
fine.
it?
I'm gonna get the door because the door is making noise, so I'm just gonna get that.
I did see an interesting question actually. I'll wait until Satori gets back. But someone asked, where's it gone now? Now that the heat has died down regarding your methods of contact, how are you, and what's the plan for the future for the both of you, and investigating?
We're doing okay. Thank you. There was, great things that came out of that time and not so great things. So it was kind of like just so much that we weren't prepared for on both sides hitting us at the same time. So there were times that we needed to take like mental health breaks and stuff like that, which we did. But we're doing great. I mean, we're working with new people. We're trying to advance what we do and different investigation methods along with it and other people moving forward. We are currently working on a YouTube channel that we just started. It's kind of a mixture of investigating and vlogging and fun stuff like that. So we're doing that, but we got some fun investigations planned.
Yeah, we've been having fun with it for sure. And it's definitely like Story said, it was a big switch for us, after all that happened, just getting used to the good and the bad. And but we never stopped doing our method. There's a lot of, there's so many rumors and misconceptions out on the internet that it would take a week of Sundays to try addressing them all. But we never stopped doing our method. We're not stopping doing our method. We do it pretty much every single week. And it's what we do. We help people with it. And
private cases mostly.
Yeah, most of it's not filmed or televised or anything like that, because it's people in their homes. You know what I mean? It's people in their homes that are scared and they need help. And we work with different teams that handle that stuff, and they either pick us up or give us a call and say meet us here, and we just go and do our thing and help out.
So busy. We're very busy, but we're happy to be busy. Mm-hmm.
Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But
I'm the same way. Can't stop.
Yeah, exactly. Right, I'm gonna let someone else in because I believe Cassandra, I think, is waiting, so I'll let her in. It's just doing its thing. Yeah, exactly. Right, I'm gonna let someone else in because I believe.
There we go.
I hear you here.
We hear you, Cassandra.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. Thank you. No, everything is good. I've been paying attention to this, I guess, since it broke around Halloween that everything came out. She is nuttier than a bag of squirrels.
Yeah, the summer before. So it really started social media, like the public really started to learn about it, I think end of summer, right?
No, around June, around
I don't even remember.
It was
I
like
thought
the
it was
middle
like
of
July
summer of 2023.
something like that.
Yeah.
That's when it first started, but the height of it was definitely around like the beginning of fall. I
Yeah.
think
Something like that. I don't know.
Got ya.
It's become
it has.
Right, I've just worked out why no one could hear me. So you guys could hear me, and I thought that the stream could as well. But it turns out I changed something, and I didn't add my microphone to my thing, so people couldn't hear me. So
Oh my gosh.
That's how professional I am. That's how professional I am. Anyway.
I'm working on my own history and mythology podcast.
Ooh.
And my friends and I all the time are, can you hear me? Can I hear? Oh, great. What the setting that we're working out?
You know the struggles. You know the struggles.
Yeah,
so
what's
the name of your podcast? I'd love to listen.
Oh, we just have a few episodes right now. It's called History and Myths with the Trio.
History and Mist or Mist.
Yes.
Mist.
Myths.
Story.
I'm gonna write that down actually.
Yeah, me
we
too.
only have about 5 or 6 episodes right now. We kind of are analyzing right now different myths and what did they mean then? What do they mean now? We just wrapped up a Halloween special, and then season 2 we're going to go more into history things and covering historical events. So
I like that. I've got a lot of time for that. Because I love, like, whenever I'm on a car journey, podcasts are my thing. Like, I love listening to a good podcast, so I might have to give it a go.
Yeah, she's rough. We're still finding our feet on this, but we're getting there.
Yeah, I agree. No, but like you'll get there. If there's one thing that I know, it's that it takes time. But all good things take time.
Thank you.
But
I can't wait to listen to that. That sounds so cool.
Me too.
Thank you.
I'm definitely gonna sink my teeth in. Where can people find it?
Right now we have it on Spotify, and I believe we also have a Apple link.
Oh, nice.
If you're okay with it, I could try to post a link in the chat when we're done here.
Oh yeah, do that, definitely. If it doesn't work, send me an email and I'll make sure to put it in the chat so people can see.
Okay, thank you.
Amazing. Right, thank you so much.
So one thing I was curious for your experiences. One of the theories that we were putting forward is, could this woman be possessed or showing the signs of possession?
Ooh.
Do you think that's the case, or do you think she just naturally has a mental illness that's only now coming to the surface?
I think I'll speak for myself, but you can join if you want. That it's not a possession. I don't think there's any paranormal influence. Personally, I'm not an expert on the subject of mental health, so I can't diagnose anybody. But I would say that it's more health related is my guess. So, and the reason I say that is because we have experienced things that we haven't talked about publicly, that would lead us to believe that there might be some sort of crisis going on, like that. So I was also raised by like an OG skeptic debunker. So my first instinct is to think of what's every logical explanation. And it seems that all of the arrows are pointing to a possible crisis, whether it be mental health, something like that. So that's what I believe.
Yeah, no, I you couldn't have said it better. There's definitely a lot of puzzle pieces that are not public. A lot of personal things to her that we know about that, of course, it's not our place to share. That definitely lead us down the road of mental health rather than spiritual. Now, it's not to say that her actions didn't affect the spirits in the house. I mean, we had a lot of reports of people who booked the house after we started going through what we were going through, that noticed shifts in the house and things like that. Whether that's connected or not, of course, we can't say. But whatever she is going through, in our opinions, and I don't mean to speak for the rest of the original staff, but we're all in kind of agreement that this is mental health, and all of the previous staff has been involved in the paranormal for quite some time. So that's just our opinion.
Yeah,
so
that's a good question, though. That's a really good question.
I agree.
No, that makes sense, because it was something that came up because I just finished writing our script. We're going to cover the Amityville for its 50th anniversary.
Okay.
And it was a similar idea that the killer used the "I was possessed" defense. So that's why it was just fresh in our minds after doing that. So that makes sense, though, that it was just mental illness.
You should also, if you're looking into like defenses like that, you should also look into the "Devil Made Me Do It" case. There's another case similar to that, so look into that case. That was in the 80s. But we don't believe that it is possession of any kind, personally.
Okay, that makes sense then. Thank you.
Of course.
Oh, that was a great question, actually. I think
that was a really good question, because I've seen so many people talking about that online, and we haven't really. given our full take on it. So I think it's important.
Yeah, I think it's an important topic to cover for sure, because it's, it's like a lot of people wonder if it's possession based or if it's mental health based. I mean, to begin with, I'll give my honest opinion. I thought that she was going for a movie deal. Like, like the Conjuring house maybe is like losing its touch, it's losing its popularity. What obviously put it on the map in the bit to begin with? The movie. Maybe that was the route she was going for, but there's way too much that has gone on and too much personal stuff for that to possibly be the case, like that's just my opinion.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're honestly, a lot of former staff thought that was why in the beginning a lot of things were happening. So you're not far off. There's quite a few of us that thought that at first, but then just some of the things that would happen behind the scenes that was becoming really scary, we were like, it's not adding up to be that way. But a lot of us did think that.
Yeah, I thought, like I'm glad I wasn't the only one that thought that, because I know a lot of people in the comments also kind of had that same theory. But let's get someone else in to ask their question. I'm just going to go through the list. This is a name that I know I'm gonna butcher, and I can only apologize in advance. Lorelei. I've definitely butchered that, but
Lorelei?
Someone else in to ask their question. I'm just going to go through the list. Hello. Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you? My name's Lorelei.
I'm great. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ontario, Canada, believe it or not.
Oh, nice.
But I also podcast on a bigger UFO paranormal network out of New Orleans called UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio Network.
Ooh.
Excuse me. And I actually do 2 shows on there, but I've been following this story quite closely, as well as your work, Tori, and I hope it's okay to call you Tori and Cody.
No, yeah, that's okay.
I'm also a nurse too, so this is I would tend to agree. I can't diagnose as well, but this definitely appears to be a mental health issue, which is kind of been scary. I want to express also how sorry I am for everything all of you have gone through, and how brave you've been for sharing what you've been going through. So thank you.
Thank you. Honestly, thank you for, I think it's really valuable to have people that are in the medical field coming forward and giving their take, even if they can't diagnose something, just to have your opinion on it, because you're more educated on a subject in the medical field than I am. So thank you for saying that. That means,
and well versed in the paranormal, the home I lived in before. We've actually shared our story on the Travel Channel's Paranormal Survivor.
Okay.
So we had some crazy, it was called Demonic Hauntings, the episode. So we've dealt with some severe activity. And what people don't realize is, I know TV looks at this way, and I know you'll probably agree that demonic possession is not a common thing. Like, it's not super common. So the first thing you jump to. But I had a question for you too.
Okay.
I have been so impressed at what the 2 of you do, and Ben as well. I never miss an episode of your 2 channels, Simply Said, and this one as well. So thank you for everything you do.
Oh, thank you.
And what you put out. But I wanted to ask you, have you guys ever thought about teaching people? And I know you do travel around with your investigations and stuff, but say on a YouTube channel or holding a course about what you do, because I think it's important. And I love the methods that you use. And I think they'd be very valuable for a lot of people, and very surprised if they were able to learn sort of the techniques that you're using to communicate with the spirits.
Yeah, thank you so much. First off, I appreciate that. We are currently we're trying to find some people in more of a scientific field, not just focused on paranormal, because we think that would be incredibly helpful. If you don't have a specific agenda of trying to prove the paranormal or trying to do something like that, it might be more handy. So we're looking for somebody that might have a more scientific, neutral background, an unbiased on either side kind of background. And if they're able to look at it, we think that that might help us figure out how this is happening and how we can replicate it with other people. But we have been working with people, and we might be getting close to getting people to replicate what we do.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's still a work in progress, obviously, but we've worked with some people that have used some different pieces of equipment to test, you know, to try to figure out what's going on, if there's some sort of, you know, connection that's being made, or what's going on with, you know, our personal energies and things like that. And we seem to have gotten some interesting results, but it's, you know, it's way too early to say that, you know, that this is the answer and all of that. So like Story said, we're still looking for some, you know, I guess third opinions at this point.
One thing I'm going to add, okay, I also am a psychic medium and I do energy healing. And if we break everything down to energy, right? And everything positive, negative, whatever, just energy, the energy the two of you share and the love that you share raises that vibration, if you will, or that energy. And I think that it sends out a positive signal to the other side. And that's why you get the beautiful results. But you are right. You're right. Science definitely needs to back it up. And I know you're going to find those people.
Thank you. Thank you. And I like getting the take of people that are mediums or psychics and things like that as well, because we don't feel things. We just get some sort of physical reaction. So we're trying to scientifically figure that out, but to get the metaphysical side of everything as well might be incredibly helpful. We want to teach people more about what we're doing. We just need to find the best way to do it, because it would make us seem a lot less crazy if we can get other people to do it too. So that's what
thinking, because once people do it, and I will get off here because I don't want to take all your time up, but I just wanted to add, once people see that they can replicate it as well, once you teach people about energy and frequency, I think they're going to be shocked the results they also will get. So thank you for everything all of you do and what you share. Ben, thanks for providing this platform, and I hope you all have a wonderful weekend.
Oh, you too.
Sending you much love and thanks again.
Oh, thank you.
Bye.
I think that's pretty cool, actually, the way that you guys are going to be going about it. I never knew that, and it's exciting to hear, because obviously, you know, one of the biggest arguments in the paranormal field is like science versus what you do, right?
Yeah.
So
well, the way we're trying to look at it is, you know, if you take the paranormal completely out of this and just hook some stuff up to us and see, you know, what the difference is, you know, from when we're not holding hands to when we're holding hands. And you know, I mean, we've been experimenting with that, you know, slowly. And we've also been testing with, you know, just some of our friends and stuff, and different YouTube channels who have brought us to different places and tried their own experiments to see if they can figure things out as well.
And even people we don't know, like just people we're meeting along the way that are more skeptical of things, that aren't necessarily paranormal investigators and things like that. We're working with them too. And we think that it's more valuable, instead of looking at it as, is this real or is this fake? You know, are you popping your joints? It's like, okay, we're not popping our joints over there. So can you just come here and observe what we're doing to see how is the noise happening over there? Can you find what's going on, instead of, is this real or is this fake? Let's try to just observe and see what can happen, because there might be a logical answer to this, how this reaction is happening. Paranormal just means we haven't figured it out yet. It's beyond our normal or understanding. So everything is paranormal until you figure it out, you know?
Yeah, fair. I mean, like, I think a lot of people in the comments, as like Foggy Morning said, absolutely bring in the scientists as well. They seem to really like that approach, where it's like, you know, like, I don't know, obviously with everything that's gone on, like, do you guys feel like you've got, do you feel like you owe the public that, or is it like you want to do that because you want to do it, or is it like, do you feel more pressure because of what's already gone on? Like, just that was just a genuine question, just off the top of the dome.
No, yeah, that's a good question. It's more that we want to do it for ourselves. I mean, it's easy. It's definitely there to say that there has been some public pressure, but it's more like, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it for ourselves. And I think that's more valuable for everybody instead of us feeling like we have to do stuff.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the, I guess, public pressure that has been out there has kind of, I don't know, it hasn't really motivated us too much because a lot of it is, so far out there from what's really going on.
Yeah.
That it just doesn't make sense to get upset over it. I mean, sometimes it's laughable. Some of the, I don't know if
Not
you recall
everything.
them theories
There's many theories that are valid.
absolutely. I mean, there's been things that we've tested out, but some of them are just, so far out there that it doesn't even make sense to respond to it.
Yeah, completely fair. And like, ultimately it's what you guys do, and it's like, I think the biggest thing is it's whether people like it's so different, right? I don't think I know anyone else that does it at all. Like, I've never heard of it before you guys. I've never seen it since you guys. I know you said that you've like taught the method to other people to a degree or whatever, but I think people, because it's so different, like, obviously that idea in itself brings challenge. People want to challenge what they don't understand. So maybe that could have played a part in it. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Absolutely. And you know what? If you don't understand something, it can be scary. It can be intimidating. It cannot make sense, which it can hurt your head, and we understand that. Absolutely. So when you don't understand something, you have to try to find the best answer you can to logically explain it.
Yeah.
And that's the scary part.
Yeah, and we understand it's hard to get the full scope of what's going on from, a two-dimensional screen. You know what I mean? I mean, we can't have everybody in the room at once to view what's happening, so you can actually get a 4D or 5D experience of what's actually, occurring. So it's understandable a lot of the I guess questions and opinions people have had, but we try to answer the ones that, we think are valid for sure.
But trust me, we know that it sounds crazy. Two people holding hands and getting knocking noises. You really think that we don't think that's crazy? We think that's crazy.
There you go. I mean, like, if you two find it crazy, then I think it's completely warranted that everyone else does.
You should have seen us when we first started getting this happening. We thought we were losing our minds.
Right, that's actually a really good talking point. I know there's people waiting, and I do apologise, but, I've got to ask the question. Now that you've said that, how the fuck do you find out that you can talk to ghosts by touching?
It was, and that may not be the full answer. There may be something that we just don't know yet, but we're just finding what's working best for us. But as far as we knew, it was the first day we met. As far as we knew, because we weren't piecing together, both of us can do some weird things before then. We just thought, wow, these locations were really active. When we first met, we noticed some sort of intelligent communication. And we didn't think it was us at first. We thought maybe it was the locations, until people on the investigation teams we were working with said, hey, you know what? Satori's gotten some weird things happening in her past. Cody, you're getting some weird things that have happened in your past. Come together, see what happens, work with it. And that's how we kind of evolved with it. It was just noise at first. It was not what you guys hear now, like, as, going through the alphabet as much, getting direct communication. It was not that smooth. We had to work on it.
Yeah, and the first paranormal team that I ever joined, I was like 16 years old, and the first team that I joined was a spiritualist-based group, and this is what the whole group was about, mediums and working with like Ouija boards and pendulums and seances and all of that stuff. That's what they were kind of based on. And to be honest, I wasn't really quite into that, but that was the team that accepted me in at that age, and I was always a tech person, but I started having some strange experiences, on those teams. I had some crazy experiences, but it wasn't all the time. Now, with Satori, it's kind of elevated to a new level, which is interesting. Something that definitely is unexplainable and strange.
And we're trying to work with new people now, because maybe I'm getting a certain reaction with Cody, but maybe there's somebody else that when they come into contact with Cody or come into contact with me, the same thing or more is going to happen. You don't know.
Yeah.
We're experimenting with it. There's a lot of variables.
I bet. Let's have someone else come in, because I'm sure you're bored of me asking you questions. So let me get someone far more
No.
exciting. Like Lisa.
Liza?
Why do I not go straight to the obvious one? Like, why? I'm wired differently, I swear. Hello. Hello, how are ya?
Well, I know we veered a little bit on the topic, but I have like a list of questions here in my little memo pad.
Okay, I love that.
You are more prepared than me, for sure.
Okay, well, let me try to be as quick as I can because I know there are other people waiting.
Oh, no, you're okay.
But and I saw some things on the chat regarding parts of this question, I suppose. Is there any way for the people who continue to book or are interested in booking the house? Is there any way about how insurance is beforehand, like for people to be able to check what their protections are, or verifying permits, or just so they can protect themselves as they're planning. And maybe this is not only for the house, but for any place that they're intending to go.
So are you, just to clarify, are you asking about ensuring that you will have an experience, you'll get your money's worth kind of insurance?
I am thinking about getting the money returned, or physical safety. So I guess the money returned is perhaps related to what you're saying, right?
Okay.
But I know there's a contract, and I'm not sure. But something beforehand so that you can make a better decision.
So from what we understand from while we were working there as well as after, it seems that there is a no refund policy. So technically, if you want to cancel and get your money back, if you didn't get the experience you wanted, or you're trying to get your money back, you have to go through your own bank, I believe. Because there is a no refund policy.
Yeah, I mean that's the only thing that we've heard. We've heard unfortunate horror stories of people that have booked and either have been turned away or had something happen, and the only way that they were able to get either a full refund or a partial refund was going through their credit card company or their bank or something like that, because unfortunately they got no response to emails and requests for a refund. So
basically, people have to make sure that however they pay, that provides some sort of insurance.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, and it's not guaranteed, unfortunately, either. I mean, thankfully, all the bookings that are done through the business are through online, so you have to pay with a card or through a bank or something like that. There's really no cash sales as far as tours or booking the house or anything like that. So there is proof of payment, which is good on your end. But yeah, I mean, you'd have to. The only way that you could possibly get it is either through your bank or through the court, trying to see that. And I do foresee some sort of class action thing happening in the future if things keep going down the same road that's going right now.
Just a quick question. I'm just going to jump in because I had an idea. Can you pay? Do you have to pay through card, or can you go through like PayPal?
I know.
I think it's just card, and I could be completely wrong, and they could have changed it by then. I know when we were working there, it was just by card.
Right. Well,
that was the way
the gift shop is PayPal, you can do, but
the gift shop.
Yeah, maybe if PayPal is an option, that's because I know they hold your money for a certain period of time before giving it to the business. As long as you pay like business and like goods or whatever, as opposed to friends and family, because then they hold your money for a period of time and you can request the funds back. Maybe, I don't know, if it's not a be all and end all. Ultimately, people should just be refunded, but we don't live in a perfect world, I guess.
Right. Thank you. And I guess my next question has to do with protection of the property. So I know there's a business, right? But it is also a historical place and a building, are there any protections? Is there any possible way that this becomes a nonprofit instead of a for-profit? Like, how I just worry seeing that the barn burned down, but considering the state of the owner, what ensures the longevity of the place?
Sadly, there's not much at this time that does. There is free reign to kind of do what the owner wishes to do at this time. I know that if there would be a possibility that there could be a protection on it if it was on like a national registry of historic places, which it's not. Because kind of the rules for that are a little stricter. We kind of wish it was, because then that would guarantee at least there would be some sort of taking care of done to the property. The only way I can see it kind of turning into a nonprofit or a historical landmark is if like the town were to purchase it and make it into like a museum or a landmark, which I would be all for. I would be absolutely all for in a heartbeat, but sadly it's not at this time.
Yeah, it's an interesting it's interesting to see the differences in state laws or even city laws. I am here in Chicago, and I know, for example, if you buy a particular type of house that is historically say from a certain particular architectural style, like whoever buys it has to abide by particular rules set by the city. And so I'm wondering if there is anything similar for historical places in other states, but I'm just wondering, it's just scary.
No, it is scary. You are absolutely valid. It is absolutely scary. I don't know the exact rules for the state of Rhode Island, so don't quote me on this. But I do believe that the only way it can be protected that way is if it's on a national registry, and the only way it can really get on that, at least in our area, I think, is it has to either be a certain age or have like something historical happen there. That's the main thing.
I know at one point, a couple previous owners ago, the house, they tried getting the house on the historical registry, and they were unsuccessful because nothing major happened there. You know, nothing major historically
like
happened there.
A figure didn't stay there, or anything like a historical figure or anything like that.
I mean, it's one of the oldest properties in Rhode Island. I think that should, you know, be enough, in my opinion. But
is a block
places should be so they tried, from what I understand, and were unsuccessful.
Is a blockbuster movie not like staple enough to get something on a historical location? That's crazy.
Sadly, it's not, but also the movie was not historically accurate very much.
True.
99% of that movie was not accurate to what actually happened.
Yeah, fair enough.
Do I have still time for a couple more questions? I have my memo pad. I'll be quick.
As long as Cody and Satori have got time, then I'm happy.
I'm here.
All right. Now this is for my own personal curiosity. I mean, everything is personal curiosity, but this one is a little bit more related to the owner and your experience. During the recording with Sam and Colby, were their behaviors already, like during the filming of that particular week, that were already obvious to you?
Yes.
You know, besides the pressure.
Yes, there were. I will say, and again, this is my perspective on what happened, so I'm just going to start with that for safety reasons. But it definitely seemed like, we didn't know really anything about Sam and Colby, which they're very nice people, by the way. But we didn't know anything about them. We didn't really even know when they were going to show up. We were just told, you're working this week, and at some point they're going to be here. And when we were asked if we would be willing to do something like that, and we said we don't know. Like, we don't really know, because that's not something we really want to do.
We usually don't plan it out.
We don't plan out, it's an organic thing. So when they showed up, a certain somebody, which I will not name, did instantly go outside and say they want to do this thing for you without asking us, and that did tie us in to now we have to do it. So, and that's no fault of Sam and Colby. That is no fault of Sam and Colby at all. They had no idea. So that, just want to put that out there. But there were signs. There were absolutely signs. It was almost like, you owe me, you have to do this. You know,
we were put in a position where we felt like we now had to do it, or there was going to be some issues behind the scenes that I won't talk about too much.
But there were red flags in certain behavior that did scare us, that made us feel like we had to do things. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a very interesting, you know, rewatching that really puts a different at least my interpretation, right, of based on what happened after. And finally, are there any other people helping manage the property right now?
I know there are people currently working there. They are new. They have either joined recently or been hired after we have left. I don't know what they know, like, you know, because obviously they're kind of getting one side of the story working there. But we have no hate towards any of them. We don't have any problems with any of them. But as of right now, I think there's a few people still working there, managing it.
Well, thank you so very much to all of you, and for indulging me. I'm so excited, and
of course,
I'm waving and you don't see me.
I'm waving back. It's okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care. Thank you. I love that. This is like this is why I think this is cool, because like people get to like ask you directly. You know, it's not like a common thing, but no, that like she had some great questions there, and I think, you know, you guys answered it perfectly. You know, with like, obviously, I know you have to be very careful about what you say right now, because, you know, anything could and would be used against you, I suppose. But,
yes, we do have to be careful. That's why we're saying our perspective, our opinion, things like that, because we don't want to hurt anybody's, you know, reputation or anything like that. We're just being honest. We're just being as honest as we can be. I will say I did get an email with some legal threats in it recently too. So, you know, we're being careful.
Yeah, fair enough. I think that's the best way to go about it. So, have you guys got time for one more?
Yeah, we have time.
Awesome. Right. So someone's joining. Is it Caroline? Carolyn? No, sorry, it's Powers. Powers? If that's your name, then fantastic. If not, then it's Powers.
That is me.
Oh, by the way, that is a sick name. I can't lie.
I give credit to my parents.
Shout out to Powers' parents for giving him a sick name like that. Like you're boss in life already. Anyway, sorry, go on.
Mine might be a bit deep.
Okay, that's fine.
But like, I've been really into y'all and really got into the paranormal studies, I guess, when I probably about a year ago, and then it went down the rabbit hole of YouTube. But could this potentially be a marketing plan on her behalf, where mental health is kind of getting in the way of? Sorry, I can't. It's weird.
Take your time.
But just that the end goal, the intention is really not thought out fully, because I just think it's weird that she doesn't show her face.
It's hard.
So I'll say this. I'll start. So and it's kind of difficult for Satori and I to look at this from an outside point of view when we were inside of the whole thing as it was happening. From the outside, I can definitely see, like Ben was saying, and Satori and some of the staff at some point, on how, you know, was she trying to get a movie deal? Is this just trying to rake up business for the house or whatever? But I will say that the stuff that we have witnessed behind the scenes definitely is not acting in any way, for sure, at least in our opinions.
And I'm not, like, when I say that, I truly believe that there is mental health, but I think health is really stemming from not knowing truth or really acknowledging or being aware of what is reality.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And really where like I where I'm coming from is coming from like the Sam and Colby and you guys coming in and not really understanding how big it was going to be.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's
I will say
understandable.
that I 100% believe that she was using us for marketing.
Right.
I will say
1000%.
that there were messages we have seen that would imply that we were being, without us knowing, in a way used to get attention.
And you can see that in the videos because I was just like, it seemed like she was like, watch my little puppets go in some way.
That's exactly, and I think at first I was upset hearing some people on the outside saying that, because there were some people saying it seems like they're like a circus act and they're being used as puppets and things like that. And at first I was upset, but then I really, because the truth was we kind of were, and I was just trying not to see that because I loved the house so much. But it was definitely there, so you are absolutely right on that. And we have seen things to prove that, and we're not thinking you're dismissing mental health concerns at all. We don't think that. We thought it at first too. We thought that this was a whole marketing act, and some of the former staff thought that too, and then it just started to get worse and worse.
It shows the correlation between the two. I think that there is a correlation between the paranormal and insanity. I mean, not insanity, but mental health. And that it's, I mean, all of what you were saying before, it's like you can't always prove it. It's not about asking, where'd you hear that knock? It's about like simply taking it for a fact just for a bit. And then that's also what faith is.
Understandable. I think, yeah, I definitely think part of me is wondering even now if there was like this mixture of, yes, the mental health, if, you know, I can't say for certain, but if there is mental health concerns, that playing into a desire to get that sort of marketing attention. Part of me is like, maybe it started off as one and the other kind of came in with that, you know, and it evolves like you're saying. So absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for your time very much. Love you all.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming in and talking. I know it's quite a daunting thought to do it, so I appreciate you know, coming in and stuff.
All right, thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
I'm literally just here, like, just in awe at what I'm listening to right now. Like, I don't know if you saw it, but like, you were like, "Oh yeah, I definitely think like, you know, we were being used for marketing." I was like,
it's, you know, and we were careful about saying that at first because we didn't want it to seem like we're, you know, throwing that out there during controversial times, because it's, you know, obviously one right after another. But we were careful about what we said in the beginning. But we have seen messages and we have seen things said to other people that have implied that we were being, you know, like we were almost like a trick. Like, here, look,
like a parlor trick.
These people. Yeah, and that's not what it was ever supposed to be. That's the best thing about Corey and Jen Heinzen owning the house first and us being able to be there was they just let us come in and do what we do. It was in the beginning when we were first practicing what we can do method wise. They were like, come in, we'll just observe. You have the room to yourself, see what you get, you know, and every now and then they'd bring people in that we have no idea who they are. And we would do it, and it was kind of like an area where we were learning more about ourselves, and that was the best part. And then when another person took over the house, it evolved into what that was.
Yeah, and I think she was trying to turn us into a business, to be quite honest. I mean, she always, you know, would tell us, you know, you should charge for this, and you know, we can do events with you, and we always said no, because it's just not what we do. It's just not. We
don't charge the people we help for sessions. We make money in the paranormal field. We don't charge the people we help for sessions. But it seemed like that was being kind of pushed.
I definitely agree. I definitely think that's the way that it was looking. It was like, you know, and I saw a comment that was fantastic from someone called Erin who said, I firmly believe that she actually became addicted to your method, so she couldn't function when they took a break from the sessions, and you know, when you stepped away, it seemed to all kind of crumble for her.
I'm not going to deny that possibility. I mean, it absolutely could be. I mean, other former staff was seeing things happen too in real time, and we didn't stop doing sessions fully when we started seeing the red flags, but we gradually came out of it because we felt like that was the safer thing that we could do. Like, stop doing it as much, find other things that we were busy and had to do, and slowly, gradually come out of it that way. But we noticed that she was starting to experiment with different pieces of equipment, and then she started claiming she was getting like voices and things like that. So I think that maybe if it's mental health related, it came in. We started seeing red flags before we stopped doing sessions, but it definitely gradually got worse.
Big time.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it definitely sounds that way. And like, looking at it from the context of this, from the Sam and Colby videos to now, it definitely seems like that was the way that it went. But have you guys got time for one more? Because I've seen there's one person who has literally been waiting. So I
we
feel...
blocked off the day for you, then.
Oh, I've never felt more special. So there you go.
Well, you have to say hello, governor, and that's the only way.
That's
out.
fine. As we leave, that's fine. That's
Okay.
payment.
Okay.
Right. So I think it's Carolyn. Did I accept? I hope I haven't just denied that. That would be really awkward. Oh, no, she's joining. No, she's joining. That's fine. Oh, thank God. Hello?
Yes, hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm fine. Sorry you had to wait so long there.
Oh, no, that's just fine. I honestly wasn't sure I'd get in at all. I don't know how big the queue is, but thank you for letting me come in.
No, thank you for taking the time. So, well, first of all, what's your opinions on everything that's been going on so far?
Oh, goodness, they're so vast, I don't even know where to begin. First, I'll say I have struggled with mental health all my life. I am on the spectrum. I was diagnosed when I was 2 years old. I'm now 32 years old. And I definitely have, spent my entire life kind of on a unique point of view, I would say, because I'm high functioning, but I can see from the perspective of someone who struggles with mental illness and someone who can function in society, just how challenging it can be to find that balance among people who struggle with mental health. And obviously what Jacqueline's dealing with is quite severe. But I mean, I grew up with some pretty severe therapy, but, good and kind and wonderful people helped me to learn what's right and what's wrong. And I think that the same should be said for Jacqueline, just that there is a good way to do it. Mental health does not mask bad behavior. It is not a gateway. It should not be a gateway to bad behavior. I'm just blown away. Also, I'm kind of curious. Cody and Satori, when Sam and Colby came, maybe I just don't read people as well as I thought I did. She seemed pretty. Nice enough, tolerable enough. Was there anything at the time that was showing signs of her beginning to decline, or was it before or after? I guess I'm just curious because I actually was impressed with her at the time of the Hell Week video. And I guess I just curious when that all started, because maybe she was just putting on she was on her best behavior, or what exactly? What is the deal?
That's a great question. Great question. And I love the points you have made as somebody who has dealt with mental health and things like that before. So great points you made. I loved that. Yes, there were signs, there were things happening in the video. I do urge people to watch the beginning of it again. There were very light signs. Nothing that really anybody on the outside looking in would have seen at the time. Most of the things that were happening that were red flags, in our opinion, were happening off camera. Certain things that were said, certain things that were done, certain behaviors that would make us uncomfortable were happening off camera. So there were light signs. Did we think at the time that it had to do with mental health decline? Absolutely not. We thought that maybe it was just some sort of behavior that we didn't know ahead of time on, and it just kind of came out more as time went on. But we didn't immediately think mental health. But if in the beginning, definitely the way that a certain individual runs out of the house, says something about us doing a session or spirits wanting to talk before we had even consented to doing anything, stuff like that was noticeable. She did have to be with us that entire time, most of the time.
Yeah, yeah, that was another. Yeah, she and you'll notice that she's in some of the videos of us doing our method, and that's because she had to be there. Like that was one of the stipulations that she gave them. And then there were times where they were able to get us away, to investigate, without her.
And we did
Um,
tell them.
but-
We did tell them when
Yeah.
we met them that, this is kind of the situation. It's not you guys at all, but this kind of is the situation we're dealing with behind the scenes.
Oh yeah, and in the car ride, we had a talk with them when they brought us to the secret locations and stuff like that in the second video, and kind of telling them, how this came about and some of the stuff we were going through. At that time, it wasn't so much mental health. It was, and I'm trying to use the right word for this that won't get me in trouble. It was the
We are not experts.
yeah, it was the attitudes towards us. And I don't want to use a certain word, but I guess the way she was treating us behind the scenes, that was the issue then. It wasn't so much mental health that we were noticing. It was just the treatment of us behind the scenes.
I can't help noticing her just utter indifference towards just humans, which makes me laugh at the title of her 7-page part 1 essay, Saving Humanity. I mean, what's her idea of saving humanity if she's so indifferent to the people around her? It's kind of alarming.
So if you look at some of the language, I could say that if you look at some of the language in a lot of her writings or whatever you want to call them, we got a lot of the brunt of that in person, with her standing right in front of us. And sometimes she would, split Satori and us apart and take me aside and say stuff to me, and then she'd take Story aside and say stuff to her.
Because if we were together, it might be more pushback. So that was kind of something that was done. So definitely that was happening a little bit. But we think that she was obsessed with the method we were doing over time? Yeah, we do. I don't think that us stopping it necessarily made her mental health worse. I just think there was something there that was going and evolving, and no matter what we did, it was going downhill either way. No, even with resources.
Yeah, in retrospect, I remember in the video she seemed to just kind of tout being kind of a paranormal expert. It was not in direct terms, but just in learning after the fact that she really hasn't had experience with it. She just seems to, after all this time, believe that she's maybe become a sponge to maybe your methods, or just being the owner of the house makes her some kind of gatekeeper. I have no idea. Yeah. It's very unusual.
It is unusual. That's the good word for it. Weird is not the good word for it. Unusual is. When we first met her, she seemed like she said straight out that she had no paranormal experience whatsoever. This was all new to her. She was interested in consciousness. She was interested in like the psychological side of things, the brain, stuff like that. And we thought that was really interesting. Instead of someone that's just, a paranormal investigator, she was interested in consciousness and learning as she went. And then it turned into, now apparently she has all this experience. So I think that has to do also with what's going downhill here. So absolutely.
It is quite a bit more exciting to say that you're paranormally aligned. And especially if your name is on the lease of the Conjuring house.
Yes.
It is very sad. Something I did, maybe I'm going off a little bit now. The most recent thing with the workers' comp, her feigning ignorance about needing it, that seems very much a cop out, and honestly, it seems to demonstrate just how she looks at her employees, that she would value the money over the care of her employees. That I mean, even if it weren't required, I as an owner, I would want to get it anyway if I truly cared for my employees. I mean, wouldn't you
That's our
agree?
opinion. Yeah, we share a very similar opinion as you on that. Yes,
For sure.
absolutely.
Yeah, I sure hope that she can get the help she needs. I mean, when I was a kid, I was going through ABA therapy, which is very intense and controversial now. I wouldn't change it if I, had the choice. I met some wonderful people. And, if I slapped someone, they, they would take away privileges from me. They would teach me that's wrong. They would be very loving and very kind. But I was always taught, despite mental illness, that bad behavior needs to be held accountable. And I think that needs to be the case for, well, anyone. And obviously it's not the same approach for everyone. I have no idea what the approach is for Jacqueline, but I mean, and it seems like the authorities are, finally getting to that point where they are able to hold her accountable. But
yeah,
I sure hope that it can pick up the pace a bit.
It seems like that. Yes. And thank you so much for your perspective on this. I feel like having a perspective from another another look at this from a different perspective is incredibly important. So thank you so much for that. I agree with your points wholeheartedly. I don't know what can be done. We've tried all sorts of resources. I mean, we never tried to make anybody feel like they had to do something. We wanted to kind of say, like, here are these outlets you have. We will wholeheartedly help you. We'll keep the business running. We'll keep this, out of the public. We'll make sure you get the help as much as you can. And it didn't seem like she wanted it, but we tried our best, and thank you for that. We don't believe that. Yeah, we think bad
There's
behavior.
only so much that civilians can do, though. I mean, and you guys are civilians. You were her employees, but I mean, this is a job for medical professionals and law enforcement at this point. And I think at this point, it's about keeping yourselves safe and also keeping your minds whole. And I feel terrible for everything that you and you two, your dad Jason and Brian Dancer have all gone through. It's very unfortunate. None of this is a good situation for anybody, and I just hope you guys can be kind to yourselves. And I don't know how much. I don't think you guys put any blame on yourselves, because it's not anyone's fault. It's not even really her fault. It's just kind of her wiring. I say the same thing about me. My wiring is just different, and sometimes I have to adapt, and goodness, she needs to adapt quite a bit, but I hope she does, and I hope you guys can feel good about what you've done.
Thank you. We try. There are things I kick myself about all the time, but I know it's kind of out of my hands, so thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
Oh, there's Ben.
Am I back?
You're back. You're back.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
That's my dodgy internet again, isn't it?
I don't know. You just disappeared.
Oh, well, I didn't mean to neglect yous.
Wow.
No, look at me being all hosty and stuff, the host is supposed to, look after the guests and stuff, and now all of a sudden I'm ditching yous. Not bad. I would ask how that ended, because, well, obviously I wasn't there to see the end of that, so...
No, it was fine. It just, the screen went dark and we just kind of looked at each other. We're like, I don't know what happened. Is that the end?
Oh my god, no. Well, I think that is where we're going to wrap up, because I've taken a lot of your guys' time, and, I think those are all the questions that could possibly be answered, and to everyone that called in, thank you so much. To everyone in the chat, thanks for being here. I know it's been a bit ropey because of the internet, so I do apologise for that. But I'll Jeremy, that dang dial up, hell yeah! I'm running on that 1990s shit. Oh dear. Right, well, thank you so much, Cody and Satori. Obviously, everyone, you need to go and support Cody and Satori now. Go and subscribe to their YouTube channel. It's the Paranormal Couple, or is it Cody and Satori?
Cody and Satori, the Paranormal Couple, yeah.
There you go. So if you put in one or the other to Google, I'm pretty sure they come up.
You'll probably find
it. Yeah, go and support them. They do actually some really fun videos, and I do quite enjoy it. So
thank you.
Yeah, look after yourselves, everyone in the chat, and I'll catch up with you in a bit. And cheerio, Gavna.